It's the most wonderful time of the year with Robert Palin and Noel O'Keefe. Welcome along to episode 94. Ho, 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 motherfuckers. Welcome along to Obviously Fight Talk episode 94.
Question?
Like
Ron Burgundy. Did I put a question mark at the end of that?
As always, by the not so festive Robert Palin.
I'm wearing green is a festive colour, isn't it?
Nope.
That's what Santa wore before he wore red.
That's before Coca-Cola got their hands on him.
Oh, is it?
And me, who's wearing a Heisenberg Christmas t-shirt. This is 94, as I've said. Fight out, shout out to Fight Store Ireland, the fighter's choice, everything you need under two roofs. MMAmix.com. They're obviously good because they're with Obviously Fight Talk. And to feelsupreme.co.uk. Go check them out for all your CBD oils, all your supplements, all your recovery aids. They are there. And why not get 10% off at the checkout? Use the fight code FIGHTTALK. Fight code. That gets you 10% off. They look after the Chinese.
Fight Talk.
They look after you. Pack show this week, Robert.
Yes.
Later on today, we will be talking with the White Mike Tyson knockout artist John Phillips. We'll be recapping the action from the weekend. We'll be joined to break down UFC on Fox Lawler dos Anjos by the beautiful, the graceful, the not saying he's the best, just saying there's nobody better, Brendan Dorman. Myself and Rob will also look back at BAMMA, EFC, and then I'm delighted to say we'll have a return in a little while, making a second appearance on Obviously Fight Talk. UFC welterweight Darren Till will be joining us.
The fucking gorilla.
The fucking 205-pound gorilla.
Yeah. Decent.
Is that right, man?
I didn't try to do an impression.
Yeah.
Just saying, that wasn't my Liverpoolian impression.
And let's start, Rob, where we always start.
You can say it now.
Yeah, I can. 2 minutes on the clock. This is your Obviously Fight Talk Quick-Fire news. We got 2 minutes. We read the subject. When the clock goes, do, shut up! Quick-fire news. UFC officials confirmed that a welterweight bout between Kamaru Usman and Emil Meek, which was originally scheduled for UFC 219 on December the 30th in Las Vegas, will now take place at UFC St. Louis on January the 14th. Rob, is there news to why it was moved, or are they just moving it because they just want to move it?
Visa issues. Emil Meek had visa issues and they couldn't sort out the fight for December 30th. But I'm just glad that the fight is going to be made because it is an excellent fight. That welterweight division at the moment is really, really good in the UFC. Very interesting matchups that can be made. And, you know, a certain Darren Till will be looking at this fight because one of the opponents that he's looking at is Usman. So, interesting fight. I'm just glad it was remade because it looked like for a minute it wasn't going to happen. So I'm glad it is happening because it's a great fight.
It looks as well as in there's this, you know, I know it all goes on social media and stuff like that, but Usman seems to be the boogeyman of the division as well. Same with Darren Till. A lot of people are talking them up so much, and you know we want to obviously see them in there. But do you think this is going to affect then the December 30th card? Do you think it's a bit of a hit on the card?
Well, it's a good fight, but I don't know. It's not one of the it was a marquee fight on the card, but it wasn't. You know, it has 2 title fights. They've really loaded that card, I think. Probably unnecessarily so. Some people are saying, do we really need 2 title fights on the December 30th card? I don't know, but I don't think it really affects it. But it definitely helps the card in January, 100%.
Interesting to see as well, like, because, you know, fighters are, you know, cutting over Christmas, doing all that sort of thing as well. So it'll be interesting to see what it means. Like, I know they would have been cutting over Christmas anyway because they're fighting on December 30th.
But they could enjoy New Year's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like, it's almost like, you know, well, you know what? You're not having Christmas, you're not having New Year either. You're fighting January the 14th. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if that makes any difference. I'm sure we won't even think about it come the night, but it'll be an interesting angle to see if it does mean anything that they have to go that a little bit longer. And
would you like to see Usman versus Darren Till? If he wins it,
I'd like to see Usman and Till against the majority of the division.
Yeah,
we're going to speak about it obviously a little bit later in the show as well. But that division at the moment is absolutely stacked. I'd say everyone in the top 10, top 12 are all there or thereabouts and a couple of victories away. And Kamaru Usman is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Last week, UFC lightweight champion Conor McGregor was asked by that reputable Yes.
Yeah.
TMZ. In classic TMZ style, what will be next? And his response should make MMA fans happy. I think a true fight is what I want to do next. MMA next. Later in the week, he posted a picture grappling in SBG Ireland. Are we going to get to see Conor step back into the famous octagon?
I hope so. You know, last week the news was possibly Manny Pacquiao, so it looks like that's possibly gone. So I hope it's MMA next, because, you know, you want to see the person who competes in a certain sport to compete in that sport. You know, as crazy as that might sound, that's what you want to see.
There was one thing as well. It was Woodley and Kenny Florian were talking about how long should you have before you get stripped. And here we are again talking about Conor McGregor, and again the talk is, should he be stripped? You know, he won the title a year ago now. So, you know, how long is too long? I know he went off and he fought Floyd, and that was what Woodley was sort of saying. You know, he went off and he done that, and he really showcased MMA, so he should be given a bit of a free pass. But yeah, it's good to hear him, and it was great to see him back. The photographs obviously up on social media of him back in SBG.
As silly as that might sound, it is kind of a significant thing, because you kind of know the power of Conor's social media at this point. Anything that he puts up, people are going to be talking about it. So for him to decide to put something like that up, it is significant. You know, I'm sure he has people around him, or at least he really thinks about what he posts on social media, because you seen what happened with the thanks for the cheese on now, and he saw firsthand what happened when he posted that up. So he knows if he puts up a photo of him grappling, people are going to be talking about it. So I think that's a conscious decision by Conor. That's not something, you know, that's not me just posting a picture of me dinner.
And word on the street as well seems to be that the talk is March.
Yeah,
that seems to be the whisper. Tony Ferguson is obviously the most realistic, I think, fight. I don't think you're going to win much out of a bookies if you're placing Conor McGregor's next fight, Tony Ferguson.
No, it's the most logical fight. It's the fight that should happen. It's the interim champ.
And it puts a lot of doubt, doesn't it, or a lot of questions, I suppose, to bed if he does take that fight and defends the belt. It would make something. It'd make the division a bit normal again, which would be great. Dustin Poirier was in the news.
Yeah,
dirtbag Eddie Alvarez doesn't want the rematch because he knows it's a bad matchup. Do we think this is the right matchup to be made for both Poirier and Alvarez? Alvarez obviously coming off a great victory over Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier equally coming off a great victory over Anthony Showtime Pettis.
Yeah, I thought it was probably should have been made last time, like before they booked the other
This
fights.
is like what you said though with what fight was it you were going on about? It didn't happen now. The Pettis as well.
Sergio like, is it Pettis a better fight?
And you remember you were saying Pettis and Cejudo.
Yeah, Cejudo.
Like Cejudo, this was meant to happen. Time went away, and they've done so. In reality, yes, it was a foul and it was a bit of a weird, but both of them have gone off and beat two of the top fighters in the world, so it makes it a bit more spicy, a bit more tasty.
It does make, and it makes sense as well, like not just because they fought before and it was a draw, which again I thought they should have run it back, but they're both in a similar position in the division. I think they're in a, I don't know what the numbers are, not that really matters, the rankings, but they're in a similar position. They're both close to the title, but not quite there, so it does make sense. Like, I just don't know. I don't know why.
And as well, it's cutting across you, it is a good fight to make, because if what we just said with Conor fighting Ferguson is true, this potentially is a number one contendership bout.
Yeah, like I wonder with Eddie or Alvarez if he's looking at it like Poirier is a step down. That's probably what he is. I'm not sure if he even said that, but you know, realistically, Poirier's going in there against a guy who is a former champ, so you know why Poirier wants to fight. But for Eddie Alvarez, maybe he wants a former champ to throw his I don't know.
If you look at what Dustin Poirier has done, Dustin Poirier has looked great since he's moved
absolutely
up to 55. Yeah. His only fall really was against Eddie Alvarez, and he lost to Michael Johnson, but yeah, he got sparked there. But he's been on a good run, and you know, I don't think it's a step back. And I just think if you look at the division in a whole, there's not many other options really at 55. That'll get him the next step up. I'm sure Eddie Alvarez is probably going to need some time off.
Yeah, and maybe Eddie Alvarez is looking at someone like a Khabib versus Barbosa fight, the winner of that, because that puts him, you know, immediately into a title contention. I don't think it's a step back, but I do think maybe in his mind it's a step back.
I
It's
think
not a former champ.
Barboza just quickly is the number one contender after this. Whoever gets this gets the winner.
Should.
Anyway, will George St. Pierre compete again? Tri-star coach Faraz Sahabi and head coach of the man himself said it will take a mega fight. I think George is going to get better, get back in the gym. He's going to feel his body out and see what he wants. What's the most interesting epic fight out there? Mayweather, McGregor? We need a mega fight. George will come back for a big, exciting fight. Please stop putting Mayweather. Can we just get rid of this? Brendan Dorman said on the show last week, just go away.
Yeah.
It's like a greyhound saying, I want to race against Black Beauty. No!
Yeah, let's stop having this argument.
Stop.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps going on about George St. Pierre. Brendan wants George St. Pierre to beat the brakes off McGregor.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Look, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that fight over the Floyd Mayweather fight. Looking at the Floyd Mayweather fight, the Conor McGregor fight looks like a perfect matchup. If you get me, it's an MMA matchup. So, as much as I don't really have interest in Conor going back up to 170, and I think that maybe it's a bit of a mismatch, the size difference is going to be enormous. I'd rather see that than the talks of Floyd Mayweather, which is just insane. But yeah, I hope that George does come back because he looked great in his last fight. I'm not sure what his health is like, but yeah, it's not surprising that Faraz is coming out saying that they need a big matchup for him to come back because he's hardly going to come back and fight some guy. It's not going to make sense,
For me, it's sort of weird. Again, I remember when GSP was coming back first, I had sort of said, if he wants to fight Cyborg, let him fight fucking Cyborg.
Yeah.
GSP. But, in a way, he's dirtied his bib by winning the middleweight title and now saying, I want to pick me fights.
Well, he didn't say that.
Well, he is. It's Faraz.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't say that, to be fair.
It's Faraz.
To be fair.
Do you think they haven't had a chat?
Possibly.
So, the way I look at it is that, GSP, in a way, he's dirtied his bib down that the McGregor fight... let's be honest.
I don't like it on its own. As a singular fight, if someone says McGregor versus GSP, do you want to see it? No, not really. That doesn't make any sense, and the size difference is huge. But when you throw Floyd Mayweather into the hat, I think that's probably a conscious decision as well by Faraz. Yeah. Let's say Floyd Mayweather and McGregor, and everyone's going to say, well, that's ridiculous, but I'll just watch the McGregor fight if that happens.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
The UFC's show last Saturday night might have produced some great moments, but it didn't attract the masses. As MMAfighting.com reported, the UFC on Fox show from Winnipeg did 1.78 million viewers and 0.6 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic on the Fast Nationals, making it the lowest number ever for the 6th annual December Network Prime Time Special. The third lowest ever. Rob, that was a fucking mouthful.
I didn't write it. MMA Fighting
wrote it. Yeah, so why didn't this attract?
I don't know. I think it's a mix of, not only is the UFC waning a little bit in popularity, I think that's clear. With people like McGregor not around, with Rousey not around, it's always going to happen. And
dare I say it, Rob? The casual fans.
The casual fans aren't tuning in as much. That's
Bring
just
back
a fact.
Brock.
Bring back Brock. That's a fact. But also, people don't really watch television as much. I think comparing this to last year, I think there's so many more cord cutters. I don't watch television. I don't know when the last time was that I actually changed the channel.
Right, you mightn't watch
on television.
You mightn't watch TV, but if you're a sports fan, you tune in and you watch the sports team.
That's true. But if you can watch it in an alternative way, as in you can DVR it or you can watch it later that day, different ways.
Count, though, when you hit record.
Not that one. I don't think that counts. I think the DVR numbers do get calculated, but I think that's after the fact. It's not those overnight numbers. But I think it's a mixture of everything. It's unfortunate because a lot of people missed a great fight. It was a great main event. I don't think it really says that both guys aren't draws. I think they're not the biggest draws.
Sometimes
in
the way the UFC work, they work off the whole draws thing, don't they? So it's not great for we're going to talk about it later. But you look at RDA, what he done was spectacular on Saturday night, and sure,
well, I think
the population in Dublin wasn't watching.
Yeah. I think overall there's a lack of promotion and direction in a way. There's so many fights on. There's a fight every weekend pretty much. This is the first weekend where there's not going to be a fight.
Who
the
was
weekend
I
coming
listening
up.
to? Was it Joe Rogan? And he was saying the UFC can't be blamed for not promoting every fighter because there's 500 fighters on the roster.
No.
Was it Rogan?
Possibly Rogan. And I understand where he's coming from, as in there's so many fights to promote that it's difficult to promote everybody. But I think you need to sufficiently promote each card. But I also think they're not putting themselves in a position to sufficiently promote each card. Like, if you have a card every week, think of the overturn. Like, every single week you're trying to promote. Back in the olden days, and I know it's a different time, but back in the olden days when you had one UFC event every 2-3 months, you could promote them, sufficiently, and you build up the excitement.
Good point. It's not in the news. I'm only thinking of it as I'm looking at this.
Yeah.
Colby Covington.
What did he do now?
What a cunt.
Jesus.
Did you see what he done?
No, what did he do?
Tweeted a spoiler. Don't worry, folks. I'm not going to
we tweeted a spoiler for Star Wars. I'll give you my Star Wars
review
review right now if you want. After the news.
He tweeted a spoiler. I don't know. I haven't seen Star Wars.
I have.
But he's tweeted what an ass. Like, come here. Right, fair enough. There's calling the fucking Brazilian people filthy animals, whatever. Right, grand.
But don't
ruin Star
Wars. Star Wars.
No, do you know? No, what he's going. He's fucking lost the plot. I don't even want to cover it. I don't even want to give it for 2 minutes because I don't want to give him. Like, this is the thing. You see, it's stand out, and this is the whole thing about promoting a fighter. But this guy is just like what he said about RDA and coming out saying what he said. Like, he's just a dickhead. And then he fucking tweets.
That's a dick move.
With the dick move, Star Wars. Like, what the fuck are you putting on that when you have, I don't know how many followers he has, but he's a lot of followers. It's on a timeline, and it's fucking
don't
bullshit.
say the spoiler, but did you see the spoiler?
No, I seen the spoiler.
Did you?
Yeah. So I was sitting there, don't get me wrong, I probably would have guessed it.
Really?
That or something else.
I'll ask you after the thing.
But I haven't seen it, but what a dickhead move.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's people that are into that shit. I'm into that shit, but like, I don't care that much of the spoiler. It's a movie. Who cares? Not the end of the world. But like, dick move. I was talking about it here and work out on about Colby Covington, and Rob sits across from me and work, and he's all, hey! So I'm not going to fucking say it, lads. Calm down. But yeah, Colby Covington, you're a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
But you're welcome on Obviously Fight Talk anytime you want. Anytime. Just answer your DMs. I've been tweeting. I've been messaging. Just answer them. We're not filthy animals.
Hey Colby, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah. Hey Colby, biggest fan. Prick. Unfortunately, we have to move on to sad news this week in the world of MMA. Highly respected coach Robert Follis, who most recently was the head coach of Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, passed away last Friday. There was speculation over the weekend in social media, but his girlfriend Mia Fukuno confirmed the tragic news Sunday on Facebook. We actually know a good few people that have interactions with Robert, so our condolences to the family and to all his friends. And there's not really much else you can say. Thoughts to the family at this tough time.
Yeah, MMA definitely lost somebody because if you read any articles about him, you read any interviews or anything like that, you'll see that he's a very, very well respected coach. Of course, Kevin Lee, one of the most notable I suppose fighters he's coached most recently. So sad news. And
as well, this is a weird time to say it after me going on a rant there a minute ago with Colby Covington. But look, folks, there's people out there to listen to you. If you're going through hard times, mental health and all, it's real, folks, and it's not something that you should be afraid to speak to people about, be it friends, family. I'm sure Rob will do this and give him more work, but you can put a number up for anyone you want to contact to speak to, and and don't be ashamed by it or be it. It's something in the world. It's like if you catch the flu, it's an illness. There's things out there to help, so don't be afraid to speak to people. But all our thoughts with the family. So welcome back to Obviously Fight Talk, and we are once again joined, making his second appearance here with us, by UFC superstar, I think it's fair to say now, and everybody wants a piece of him. We're now joined by Darren Till. So Darren, thanks a million for taking the time to come on once again to Obviously Fight Talk.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me on again.
Darren, you must have had keen eyes on the weekend. You had a good back and forth with Perry leading into this fight against Ponzinibbio. Did you watch the fight, and in some ways were you disappointed with the result?
Yeah, I watched the fight. The only fight I was excited for to watch, and I was disappointed because the Perry fight would have been a good fight to have if he would have beat Santiago. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed.
Santiago wasn't somebody really on your list. Is he someone that you have interest in fighting, or was he not on your radar?
I would like to fight him, but I just don't know right now what fight's good. Like, there's just so many options. There's Santiago, Usman. Wonderboy doesn't want to fight me, but he's saying he's ready to fight in March. He said he had an injury, so that's like, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
You've got Dos Anjos and Lawler. They've just fought. Lawler's coming off a loss. Dos Anjos is probably ready for the title. You've got Colby. So the welterweight, top 10 now is just really up in the air.
And do you find as well, Darren, since the victory over Cowboy, that all of a sudden the world's at your feet? Everyone seems to be calling your name as well now.
Yeah, because everyone's angry that Dana White said I was the future, and he never said that they were the future. So yeah, everyone wants a piece of me, and everyone wants to knock me off my perch, which is okay. It's good. There's a target on my back, but you know, it's what comes with it, mate, isn't it?
And as well, you're saying March there with Wonderboy saying that there's big rumours as well that the UFC was going to Liverpool. That sort of seems to have fallen away a little bit now, but they are due back in London. Is that something that you're working for? Is that what the next time we're going to see you step into the octagon?
Yeah, you know, let's see what after Christmas what they say. You know, let's see if they want to book me for London March or, you know, whatever. If they want to make a Liverpool date in April or some, you know, I'll wait. So let's just see. But straight after Christmas, I'm back in the gym, back on the grind. So, you know, I'm ready to fight next year as early as February. So let's go.
How big of a chance do you think there will be a card in Liverpool?
I think 99% is going to happen next year, a Liverpool card.
And do you think it'll be early next year, April or so?
Yeah, I think it'll be earlier rather than later. It's got to be.
And as well, I was just looking down, like, you see a lot on your social media, and like, I'm sure the UFC pay attention to it as well. A lot of matchmaking goes on social media, but I'm starting to lose count of the amount of fighters that are hitting you up saying, I'll fight you, and every time you say, yeah, let's do it. So is there anyone, if you could handpick right now, if you could handpick an opponent that you want to fight, who do you want to fight?
I want to fight Wonderboy.
Again, is it just your style? As in, a lot of people consider him a world-class striker. Do you just want to show that you've better striking?
Yeah, it's just, you know, he's a world-class striker. He really is. Good guy, he's respectful. But I know I beat him, and you know that I know that's a fight that is good for the public, the crowd. You know, he likes to stand and bang, and I like to stand and bang, and I just believe I'm a superior striker. I'm all round stronger, superior, more intelligent. So that's the fight I would handpick right now.
I know you brought up his dad. His father said that the fight wasn't going to happen. You said that it's actually his father who doesn't want it to happen. Do you truly think that's what it is, or do you think Wonderboy doesn't want the fight?
I don't see Wonderboy as a guy who's going to neglect fights. You know, maybe he's getting advised by his team or his dad, you know, just saying that I don't deserve the fight. Maybe it's a bad fight for them. So, you know, anything could be getting said behind closed doors, but, you know, it's totally his decision. You know, he's got to fight me sooner than later because he's up there in the top 3. So, you know, why doesn't he just fight me now?
Because that was one thing as well, Darren, where it came from. It came from the horse's mouth. Dana White said it. So a lot of people thought this fight is done and dusted. So was it that close to getting done, or was it always just offered but never signed?
Mate, I think it was just Dana getting excited. You know, there was never nothing fully mentioned, or there was no contract put out there. So I think it was down to Dana just liking me and wanting me to fight Wonderboy and, you know, whatever. So, yeah, there was no contract ever signed or anything, do you know what I mean? So
another name you brought up there was Dos Anjos, and I know you done an interview before the RDA fight on the weekend. You said that RDA was too small and it wasn't really a fight that you were interested. Since that performance, has anything changed? Have you looking at RDA differently now?
Oh, he's in line for the next title shot. He's beating everyone, but I just don't see if I fight him. Where does Dos Anjos beat me? I don't think he's strong enough to take me down. I don't think his takedowns are good enough than my defense takedown. You know, I just don't see where he beats me. On striking, I'm way too powerful and intelligent for him. You know, anything he throws, I'll be nullifying it. And, you know, that to me is an easy fight. You know, there's guys who aren't even in the top 10 who I feel are harder fights than Dos Anjos, just because I think his style just matches so well to mine. You know what I mean?
Big news as well, Darren, broke with you as well, that you signed with MTK. Of course, predominantly known as a boxing management company and promote that look after boxers. How did that come about? How did the contact come about, and you know, how they're coming along to representing you now?
Yeah, well, MTK, they were interested in me for a while. They were getting interested in the MMA scene, and you know, they know we have close friends. We have the same circle, and you know, they contacted you know, a friend of mine, and you know, it went from there. They said they want to go into MMA, they want to take over the MMA game, as I want to take over. So it just seemed like a perfect party to fit in with, and you know, now we're doing business, and you know, make no mistake, we're going to do big things together. It's an exciting relationship we've got going on.
And what's going to be their role going forward with you, Darren? Like, as in, you know, obviously they're going to be in the background a lot, but what's their role in your career going forward?
Just basically management, advisement, sponsorship, you know, everything they, you know, MTK is huge globally, you know, they got so many fighter boxers on the roster, you know, they make a lot of money, you know, they're not looking at me as like, obviously they're going to make money, but as like a cash cow. They're looking at me as the next, they want to create the next big thing, and they want to be part of it in MMA, and you know, let's do it together, why not? It'd be a fun, exciting relationship together. So I've fully put my trust into MTK.
It's funny to see, well, not funny is probably the wrong way of expressing it, but it's crazy to see the difference in opinion and everything that a fight makes. I know we always say fight fans are fickle, but like, when you think about it, when you came on here the last time with us, Brendan Schaub had basically said, like, why Cowboy Cerrone was taking a fight against you, you were unheard of. And now Brendan Schaub is probably one of your biggest fans. He hasn't, every time he gets to say your name, he says it with the biggest smile on his face, and it's like he's gone onto your Wikipedia page and learned it off by heart. But it's just, it's like, have you noticed that since that victory, just a change in people's opinion? Maybe they're not underestimating this Brit who's coming in and fighting, that they're looking at your skill set and going, shit, we got to take notice, this guy's legit.
Yeah, people have changed opinion. You know, to me, it's indifferent. It doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have doubters. You're always going to have, you know, people who don't believe in you, people who, you know, want to put you down. But, you know, I just get on with it. And along the way, everyone's, you know, going to be disbelieving. But at the end of it all, they're all going to be saying, you know, he fucking did it, because I just totally believe in my skill set. And I know that I'm going to make it to the top and reign for a long time, and you know, that's just is what it is.
I'm sure it doesn't, you know, hinder having the likes of Dana White talking so highly, and like I said, Brendan Schaub even now, because I know the piece we done with you, Brendan Schaub spoke about, and he said that you had an interaction over, I think it was DM on Instagram or something. You were chatting. Did you reach out, and were you talking about him to Brendan Schaub about it?
Yeah, we spoke. He sent me like an apology message on Instagram, which was, I thought it was very manly of him, and you know, very, you know, straight up and blah blah. And you know, we spoke, and I replied. I said thank you, this, you know, for your kind words and what he said to me. And after that, we're all okay. You know, every time he gets a chance to speak about me, as you said, he always speaks very highly. So right now, there's no problem. You know what I mean?
And again, 2018, a big year ahead, no doubt, for Darren Till. But there's one thing I've seen as well, that, you know, you mentioned a certain Irishman as well in an interview, where you said there's another fella I'd love to get in the octagon with, an Irish boy called McGregor who talks a lot. If Conor is ever stupid enough to come back to 170, I'll be waiting and only too happy to shut him up once and for all. Do you see Conor ever going back to 170? And obviously, it's the money fight, isn't it? And would you like to be the guy to hammer the nail?
I'd love to fight Conor, but I don't know what does Conor want to do? You know, does he want to fight box now? I heard he was meant to be fighting Pacquiao. Does he want to fight it? You know, does he want to retain his belt at lightweight, defend? Does he want to go to feather? You know, you don't really know. Conor's. He's the biggest name in sports, you know, so I'm just like, at the moment, I'm, you know, shall we say, insignificant. There's way more bigger options and whatever, this, that for him, but along the line, you know, if he wants to come up to welterweight and fight a superior striker as myself, you know, me and him we can dance. Speaking
of striking and boxing, is that something that you have interested in? You're obviously signed with MTK, who have a boxing background. Is that something that interests you at all?
Not right now. Right now, I just want to be the greatest fighter in MMA, in the whole of MMA. So, no, it doesn't interest me right now. But who knows in 10 years? You know what I mean? But right now, I just want to be the greatest fighter ever in MMA. That's the only goal I have right now.
Just before I let you go as well, Darren, I have to ask, because it was something. It was something that sparked me, and it's like you when you were talking. It's confidence. I think I said this the last time you were on. It's just confidence and belief. But when you look at somebody like Colby Compton, the way he's going on and the disrespect that he's shown Brazil, again, he was saying it after RDA won at the weekend. What's your thought process on that and how he's clearly doing it just to play the heel or be the bad guy, but he's the lack of respect he's shown for Brazilian people and the customs of Brazil, along with ruining Star Wars on half the world if he has done. But what is your opinion the way Colby Compton is taking to social media and how he's playing it that way?
I think it's, you're going to get some people who like him, but I think the majority don't like him. I've seen a lot of fighters and even like commentators, they don't like him. It's coming off very phony, very fake and desperate, for the top shot. And, Colby is a good fighter. He's beaten everyone. He's just beat, in my opinion, one of the greatest welterweights of all time, Damian Maia. He's good. So he doesn't really have to do this whole bad boy persona, like smack talk and like he's the big man. We all seen what happened with Verdun. Like, let's put it straight, he shits his pants. If someone threw a fucking boomerang at me, I would fly in their face and fucking knock them straight out. But he didn't do that. So he showed that he's a bit of a shitbag when it comes to it. He's all right talking a big game, but if he gets cracked on the nose, is he happy with that? Because I know I am. I've been cracked on the nose many a times, and I thrive in them situations. So, Colby's he's playing this bad boy thing, but it's fucking fake. Like, just be genuine. Stop talking shit about everyone. No one likes that shit, He's disrespecting Tyron so much, fucking hell. I'm going to beat Tyron Woodley if he's still a champion. And, if I get up to that title shot and he's the champ, I'll beat him, I know that. But I'm not going to disrespect him in a way that Colby's doing. I just think it's so fucking idiotic. So Colby's doing what he's doing and just leave him to it, mate. He doesn't really enter in my mind. To me, he's an idiot.
Yeah, I have to say, I agree with that. I think it's stupid the way he's going on. Just the big year ahead, what is us, the fans and media looking at it, what does next year hold for Darren Till?
Let's see, as soon as Christmas is over, I have one trip to do. I need to go to Brazil to visit my daughter. Then when I'm back in the gym, I'm grinding, headstrong. I'm taking every ounce of my energy. It's getting put into, being the best and this obsession I have. And next year, I know they're gonna book a big fight straight off the year. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna get close to the title shot, and then when I have my title fight, it's gonna be the biggest in history. You mark my words. I've already got the biggest. Look how big my fan base has come now. People speak UFC and they're saying Darren Till. Look how big I've become. I'm probably the hottest welterweight in the world right now. Next year for Darren Till. Next year is the year of the Darren Till. You can mark my words. And now I'm with MTK. They're so big and they're going to push me in all the right directions. Next year's my fucking year, let me tell you.
Well, Darren, I can't wait to watch you. It's an absolute joy to watch you perform on the stage. And I wish you the best of Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your visit to Brazil. And I can't wait to watch you next year, my man.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good Christmas there as well. All the best.
Tell Ariel we are asking for him.
Cheers.
Well done, Darren. Take care.
Boys.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Bye. I think it's a fair thing to say. The biggest welterweight name in the world. It is. Everyone's saying his name. Everywhere.
Yeah, everyone's saying. Yeah. He's if you have like a graph of like a trajectory of welterweight fighters at the moment, his is like this. It's just constantly going. It does remind me, and again, you always make the comparison to Conor, but it does remind me of the Conor kind of run where, although Darren's been in the UFC for a lot longer, and maybe it was more of a like this, and now it's like this, where Conor was like straight up. It is remind me that once people kind of caught on, like everyone's jumping on board, and in the next, who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years. Obviously his confidence and stuff like that, but what Darren Till is telling me there, I don't doubt him. Exactly, yeah.
I'm there going, this guy knows what he wants and he's going to go get it.
That's the difference between, say, the Colby Covington one, the one that you brought up. Whereas Colby, you look at him and you're like, this guy is kind of rehearsing this, and when he says he's going to beat you, although I'm sure he believes it, it doesn't feel like it's not. It doesn't feel genuine. Whereas when Darren says that, I really feel it, and I think the performance against Cowboy, what he did, kind of shows exactly how he feels. He has that confidence in himself, which is always really exciting. All the best fighters in the world kind of had that. Like, you look at the likes of Mike Tyson, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to knock you out in one round. You know, Conor, of course.
But the way I look at it is, like, Darren Till is willing to fight anyone in that division. He wants to be considered the best mixed martial artist in the world.
Yeah.
Never mind middleweight, welterweight, heavyweight, lightweight. He wants to be considered the best, and he's willing to fight anyone to get him there. And like, I absolutely like. You just get your blood going when you're talking to Darren Till. Like, you follow him.
The accent helps too.
Once he starts going about, I tell you next year I'm going to do this and do this, you're going, I'm fucking with you. Let's go and get them. You know what I mean? And you go through it. But brilliant stuff. Great chatting with Darren Till. Thanks again for coming on to obviously Fight Talk, Darren. But Rob, let's move it on and let's look back. Let's recap over the weekend that was in mixed martial arts. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, and if you're listening, sure, I'm about to tell you. We're not saying he's the best, we're just saying there's no one better. Brendan Dorman, welcome back to obviously Fight Talk.
Hello, fellas.
Hello,
Let's do
Brendan. UFC Fight Night on Fox went down at the weekend. Fox 26, Robbie Lawler taking on RDA, Rafael dos Anjos. The main event, let's start it there, Brendan. I thought Robbie Lawler was going to have too much for RDA, but what a magnificent performance by RDA displayed. Mixed up, just his attacks were fantastic. His pressure, his output, that 23 seconds where he throws 48 punches up against the cage, ended by Robbie Lawler laughing, by the way. But incredible performance by RDA. A lot of people were saying, Robbie Lawler's injured, it was more about Robbie Lawler not showing up than RDA. I think that's unfair and ignorant. But what do you think, Brendan Dorman?
Well, the last thing you said about Robbie Lawler not showing up or whatever, those are fans.
Yeah.
Like, no analyst or coach or anyone looked at that and went, RDA got lucky there. That was 5 rounds of dominance. Yeah. You don't stumble into that.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. So what I noticed, I noticed a lot. One thing that's obvious is Robbie Lawler is as tough as they come, right? Hat tip, of course, to him. But RDA looks fucking great at 170. Yeah. We all kind of we saw the paths that it may go, but I didn't see that one exactly. Robbie's chin, or just durability, is because he didn't get really cracked on the chin per se. But how about when you were talking about the flurry on the cage? The way that he was still rolling and just calm and just pat here, bloody shot here, and RDA is ripping like a fucking savage, just ripping the body where you can hear it cracking, you can hear on his body. How do you think that felt for him? So Lawler gets a plus for being tough, but man, RDA's angles looked better. His shot selection looked incredibly better. He was low kicking at the right times where you always want to time him so that someone can't check him properly, and that's why they were eating up so much. I don't know how much experience you guys have with leg kicks. I know you guys. I know you call Muay Thai, and I know you both trained some. But if your weight is heavily on that leg versus if it's not, it's night and day. It's not they're not comparable as leg kicks, or the feeling's not anyway. There's a Charlie horse kind of cumulative effect that gets really bad. I didn't think Robbie looked terrible, and I think he showed his moxie, his toughness, whatever word you want to throw in there. But man, RDA I don't think he can beat Woodley, if I'm being honest. I really don't, and I don't think that's a good match for him.
Woodley said it to his face.
I see. Woodley said he'd knock him out, right?
Yeah, to his face.
Yeah.
He said it right to him?
Yeah.
When he was sitting next to him? I didn't watch the interview. Yeah, well, Tyron's a fucking savage. That doesn't surprise me. I just wish he'd be more aggressive. But when he turns it on, he's terrifying. RDA is he's a cerebral guy. You know what? And this is kind of a social commentary in a way. We've talked about this before about the marketability of fighters and their grasp of the English language, right? Mm-hmm. RDA is very intelligent right? But because his English is a tad, quite a bit broken, I mean, better than Anderson's was.
Yeah,
I feel like some of his intelligence gets lost. Like that happens with George a little bit, although his English is pretty good. We talked about Joanna working on hers, like Habib. Everyone's English, right? Like it's important to their character. But what I was thinking during that, right after they announced the winner and that it was a shutout on the card. Is like, man, he just fought he fought intelligently for 25 minutes, and he's working with Jason Perillo, who I'm becoming a huge fan of that guy, man, as a striking coach. Jesus Christ, what he did with his hands. I mean, he won the boxing.
Oh.
Fucker.
No, we got you. Keep it PG.
Yeah.
You were just saying
he
won the boxing exchanges, and then we cut out.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and Jason Perillo, who also, did wonders with Michael Bisping, he's got to start getting recognized in that striking coach upper echelon, I think. We saw it with Trevor Whitman, with Gaethje, although he lost, and then especially with Rose. There's these and again, it's boxing guys kind of, that are doing wonders for people. Man, RDA's he's a smart fighter. That's my takeaway was it was an intelligent game plan, and he's got a hell of a gas tank on top of it. I mean, of course, all the acumen of athleticism. Acumen, fight IQ.
Yeah.
He's a smart fighter, man.
But it was quite funny because in commentary, when RDA was throwing them shots up against the cage, they were sort of going, "Has RDA punched himself out?" And that was almost like a throwback to if that was RDA at lightweight, that he might have emptied the gas tank. But it just shows what not doing that massive cut is the benefit for RDA. And I didn't see, I seen the first maybe, not going exactly like that because that'd be a ridiculous statement and all. But I seen the first maybe 2.5 rounds going similar to that. But then I just seen Robbie Lawler taking over,
which he normally does.
Yeah, but that never happened. And RDA, you spoke about it as well, Brendan, last week was and this week again, the leg kicks. He's just going just beneath the knee, sort of at the calf. And Robbie Lawler actually mentioned a knee injury, but it was on the other leg.
Yeah.
But as I was saying today to a guy, if you have a bad knee, you rely on your other knee a little bit more to carry it like a pet counter. Yeah. So the fact that RDA chopped away the good leg so much, it got to a stage where a stiff jab was knocking Robbie Lawler off balance because his balance was just gone with the bad knees. But I have to say, we're closing in on the end of the year here, 2017, and for me, that was probably one of the best performances by an individual in a main event.
Yeah,
this year.
Can see, and it's kind of comparable, or you can comparison to it, the Pettis fight, RDA versus Pettis. I think it was just a domination, different way, but it was a domination, and he was a very smart performance by RDA. He knew what he was doing was working, and he stuck to that. And Robbie Lawler, for the last 3 rounds, he was on the defensive. He was up against the cage. But I also think your point of the no weight cutting is important to him, because we do see what the benefits of no weight cutting is, but this really does underline it. And of course, there's definitely benefits of weight cutting, because I think Brendan just said it. If he fights Woodley's a huge guy. He's a huge welterweight. I'm not sure how that'll go for him.
Monster.
And we'll see how it goes for him, because he might fight him soon. But you do have to underline the good ones.
Let me cut in real quick, because I'll forget this point if I don't make it right now. Is that the guys that can cut the most weight the most efficiently, it seems, like Woodley, Conor in his prime, Gleison Tebow, we can put them all as extreme weight cutters that make it every time.
Yeah.
They're always these really freakishly thin-waisted guys.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it is. It certainly is.
Yeah, just a weird frame.
I don't know the science behind it, but I think it's noteworthy. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Co-main event. Woo! Josh Emmett getting the knockout over Ricardo
Nobody predicted this. Nobody predicted this.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was just like he was throwing absolute bombs from the get-go as well. He was really sitting down on his shots. But I know, Brendan, you'll break it down in a lot more scientific or beautiful way. But I noticed the finishing blow that came from Emmett, like he threw the right hand and really overextended on it. But that almost allowed a pendulum from the comeback with the left.
I'm pretty sure Brendan talked about this a few weeks ago.
No,
let
me have the moment.
No, I'm almost positive he broke something like this down a few weeks ago.
Ngannou about leading over him onto the hook.
Yeah, it wasn't Ngannou.
He missed with
I
the
was just
right.
gonna call it that.
Yeah,
Ngannou light.
Yeah, he missed with the right and then came back like the pendulum.
Like the Dan Hardy condit, which I always bring it back to.
Wow, what a finish. And wow, Ricardo Lamas was out.
Did Dan Hardy call it as I did or something?
No, I said the Dan Hardy condit fight was kind of similar. Where you both threw the same shot.
That was a mutual exchange punch thing.
Yeah.
The difference being like the pendulum effect. I think I got the term from Roy Jones himself when I met him like in 2012, where Roy Jones would always throw his right hook to the slap and it corks the left hook, right? And then the left hook corks the right. It's like pendulum effect, right? It's the reason a Dutchie works, because you slap a left hook and you propel off that left hook, boom, slap into the right leg kick. It's pendulum, right? It swings like this, then the momentum swings this way. The analogy makes a lot of sense to my brain anyway. That knockout looked a lot like Ngannou's in the fact that his right hand overextended and coiled all this power into that blast left. And Lamas looked fucking dead. That was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
That guy came out of nowhere, an unranked dude. I mean, I didn't even know he was training with an elite team. He's with Alpha Male, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Alpha Male.
Yeah. So I didn't even somehow that skipped me. I didn't even know. And I saw some sparring footage of him right before the fight, and a few things, and I was like, oh, this kid's got a shot. And I had put out before the fight, I'm like, don't be surprised if this kid wins. And he wins.
It's crazy,
because I saw the right footage. You know what I mean? Like I put it on Twitter. He's not polished as a striker, but man, he throws for the fucking
he
fence.
has thrown his name in the ring here. You know what I mean? Taking out Ricardo
What
Lamas,
an
we were only saying the
fight.
only guys.
That's no joke.
No, it's seriously talented.
Incredible.
It's crazy. Look, it just kind of underlines for me the difference between boxing and MMA. Where if that was a guy who was ranked, probably Ricardo Lamas, 3 or 4 or something at featherweight in the world.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody 3 or 4 featherweight or whatever weight in the world of boxing on a huge card like this, taking some random guy on short notice, on like a week's notice. It's insane. This sport is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
It is. Parody.
Yeah.
With a T.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks when you say parody, you mean like it's
funny.
a comedy.
Yeah.
Parody. Like you want it to be unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons we love MMA so much.
It is.
Who fucking knows what's going to happen with 4-ounce gloves? The guy can land, although that he could have worn 30-ounce gloves. That punch, I think, would have done the same thing. Yeah. But the point is it still remains the same. Yeah. That guy came out of nowhere and just beat an upper echelon guy that was just about to fight the former 10-year champ. I mean, he didn't just beat some dude. He beat a high-ranked opponent and decisively. He didn't outpoint him. It wasn't 29-28 on any judge's scorecard. Yeah. It didn't get there. That was welcome to the world of the UFC. You know what I mean?
It's a real thing why I understand why some fighters just don't take them kind of fights. Yeah. I really understand it and I get it.
We spoke about it. Is that he wins
so
and it's like, yes, you were meant to do that anyway.
Exactly.
And then this happens like, holy shit.
Yeah, Ricardo Lamas is gone.
And this, if it was still around,
top 5, he's not there until he wins another couple.
If this was still around, remember they used to bring out the ultimate UFC knockouts.
Yeah.
This was definitely on it, or UFC Unleashed would definitely be on it. Stunning performance by Josh Emmett, and talking about grabbing opportunity with both hands and knocking it the fuck out. That's what Josh Emmett done. Then the people's main event, probably the fight that everybody was going, when's this happening? Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Mike Perry, and woohoo! Chase Sherman tweeted saying before this fight's going to end in a knockout, and if it doesn't, I'll let Francis Ngannou hit me flush in the face. Chase Sherman, avoid Francis Ngannou at all costs. But wow, we didn't get the knockout, gentlemen, but we got a great fight.
So Chase Sherman is suicidal. That's our first takeaway, because he will die. He will die from that punch. So there's that. I hope he's not. I hope he's on suicide watch. Someone get him Section 9. He'll be okay. That said, that guy's hilarious, so I think it's funny. And obviously, Francis isn't going to punch some guy that weighs 100 pounds less than his fucking Bengal tiger weighs. That guy's he's terrifying to everyone in his own weight class. Forget lower weight classes. Mike Perry looked unpolished, man. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah,
tough guy. Very tough guy. Very good at selling fights. Felt a little forced when weigh-ins came around. It was a little weird. I came in with like this moxie of rooting for the guy, you know. He was doing like things right up until then, and then you just saw the difference between polished striking and unpolished striking. You know, that's my takeaway. I mean, there's a lot of other things. Perry's very tough, man. They just put something out today of him, like I think he threw up or something on the way out from the ring. Like he got sick, but that's I think probably could have been body work, could have been 100 things, right?
Yeah.
He's durable, he's very tough, but he's unpolished. He threw some, you know, purple belt. If there was striking belts, like purple belt strikes. He's not a black belt in striking yet, you know. And Ponzinibbio's like a high-level brown belt. He was better. He had better angles. He wasn't really there for the bombs at all. None of them really came close, to be honest. Some of them were like swing and a miss, big time. And Ponzinibbio is just more polished. He's been there before. He seemed calm. He seemed unfazed. I was impressed. Yeah. I was impressed by his composure, you know. I missed all the bullshit, or what? I don't mean that in a negative, but just I missed the media frenzy, if you will, you know. But I was a little unimpressed with Perry, I'll be honest. He just looked a little sloppy.
Ponzinibbio,
what do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was similar to the Joe Ban fight where Perry.
I think Ponzinibbio was a lot more aggressive in space.
No, he was definitely more aggressive. But
he picked his spots, though. That's the way you have to do it.
He fought
you can't
smart.
just be aggressive.
Exactly.
You have to be like calm, defend, angle out, and then you can blast into whatever it is you're doing. Then you get out responsibly, hands up. Pull your head, get out of there.
Yeah,
it was smart striking.
Well, it was Mike Perry just pushing a lot of punches. Like that's what it was.
How I'd explain it is Mike Perry looked like somebody who was pissed off, and he was fighting pissed off
right from the get go too.
Yeah, he was fighting pissed off, aggressive, and we talked about it before, where you're tight and you're going, "No, I want to kill you."
Yeah.
But Ponzinibbio was calm, relaxed. He was loose, and he was landing the cleaner shots. And Perry, as you said, Rob, he was pushing some shots, and it drained him as well. Like throwing shots aggressive like that is tiring and exhausting, and I just thought it was a super job with
Ponzinibbio was constantly moving as well, like on his toes, on the balls of his feet. It was a great performance.
Very light on his feet, very like slick striking. Sometimes, like, if you guys have ever like done boxing at all, you don't throw much in. It's all shoulders and letting your shoulder kind of come out, right? So they'll talk about like arm punching. I'm sure you've at least heard of the term. Like Perry was starting to arm punch a lot. Not just that, he was doing these things where like he'd miss on a crazy right, and he'd be so frustrated he'd like back fist. But it wasn't tactful like Weidman Silva. It wasn't. It was desperation more than tactfulness, I guess. I don't know if that's a word. I'll make it up though. Now it is.
Would you agree though, Brendan, that the basis is there from Mike Perry? Like he's got the knockout power, so check. He has got the charisma, all that side of things. But in the actual cage, he needs to go off, and like we're saying, like a Jason Perillo or do you know what I mean, a Duke Rufus or somebody like that. Go to somebody who's like a Brendan Dorman, or you know what I mean. Go to somebody that can get.
He does live in Florida, right?
Yeah, exactly. So go and get, like, you have the fundamentals here. You have what it takes to become that good, and go off. Take 6 months. He's only 26. Take 6 months. It's obviously going to take longer to get perfected, but go and train with an elite striking coach. And next time he steps back in there, you're going to go, holy shit, who's this guy? Because he has the power.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that, like, especially when I like had my gym rolling and everything, like, because now everything I do is kind of private, gun for hire work, we call it. But he's the type of guy I would, to your point, me as a coach, I'd love that guy to walk into my gym.
Yeah.
He's so tough. So you don't have to teach him all the bullshit.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, I don't want to be your psychologist. I don't want to play Freud. I want to teach you technique and teach you how to refine yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I do well. I recognize patterns, whether it's on a guitar, whether it's human condition, whether, you know, in college, that's what I went to school for. Like, I recognize patterns. Well, I've always done that. And that's all this all is. It's all it is a striking coach, especially a striking coach. But jiu-jitsu the same. Like, MMA the same, I guess. Like, that's the kind of guy, you're right. Yeah, he needs the right guidance, but he needs someone he'll listen to. Duke, you'll fucking listen to that guy.
Yeah.
You're forced to. You know what I mean? Duke's proven, you know, way more than I am. But, you know, some people get behind me if they just give me a minute. It's like, let me explain why. And usually most rational people will understand how I can help them. It doesn't mean I can make everyone a world champ, but I'd love to take on a project like that guy because he could be really good. Like you said, the intangible-ish things. Yeah. He's already got all those, and I don't have to fucking worry about it. You know, there's nothing worse than having a student that's a killer in the gym, and then all of a sudden he gets in the cage, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. You want to get in there yourself and save him, you know?
I don't know if you agree with it.
Totally answers it. But
I don't know if you agree with it, Brendan, but one of the things that I think was lacking from Mike Perry big time was footwork. I think, like, if you look at his fights in the past when he got some knockouts, it's not like he's a guy who just throws like one punch or all he has is an overhand right, because he was throwing that a lot in that fight. So I think he got a bad impression of what he is in that fight. But if you look at his past fights, when he gets into range and gets where he does his best work, his hands are good. He has some good elbows. He has some good techniques. It's just he finds it difficult to get into that position.
Ponzinibbio, right?
Yeah.
Perry. So let me move this way. So Ponzinibbio does very well here, and Perry does awful here.
Yeah.
Perry does well here.
Yeah, exactly.
He never got there.
Yeah.
So that's why you had these like desperation strikes, and the reason that he couldn't get there is, like you said, footwork.
Yeah.
You've got to learn how to tactfully get inside. Again, we could rewind a tad and look at RDA, and when he got in close, he either would get him in a tie clinch, elbow, and then slip, importantly. Strike, slip. So Robbie would throw, and he wasn't there to get hit. Yeah. Robbie didn't connect with anything substantial because of that. And again, this is the Lomachenko thing. This is the just don't even get hit with it at all.
Yeah.
Perry looked like plotting old school Muay Thai footwork. Like, I'm just going to plot forward, hands up. And a guy's just going to, a real good striker is going to pick you apart. You're not there, you know? So, again, you're right, 100%.
The other last fight on the main card was Glover Teixeira getting the victory, getting it done, ground and pound, round one against Misha Shirkinov. Misha Shirkinov, Rob, you spoke about it for a long time as well, about the big contract negotiations going on. Misha Shirkinov is one fight away from getting the walking papers.
Yeah,
but I got to say, hands up, I didn't see this coming.
I'm not going to gloat. I'll let Brendan talk.
I have nothing to gloat about. I didn't see that kind of. Yeah. Glover's jiu-jitsu, man, Jesus. Yeah, his transition there, to get to Mount was like, whoa.
And Shirkinov is good on the ground. He's really good.
He's a black belt.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Impressive.
So, was he that hurt? I didn't think he was that hurt at that time that you could just go from kind of like half guard to mount in a split second. He went to a nice mount, like a high, knees tight on the rib cage mount, and it was just, at that point, I think everyone kind of was like, you know, like, it's over. He looked fantastic, man. Yeah. Glover, like, holy shit, you kind of forgot how good that guy was. Yeah. You know? He looked fantastic.
He's one of them guys who just never goes away. Like, he'll lose a fight and he'll come back, he'll rebound big. And his jiu-jitsu, we just don't see it.
The only losses are the savages, man.
Exactly,
like we said, you know?
John Jones and the likes of those. Gus, I think he lost it as well.
Rumble. That's it. I think.
Yeah.
What's next? He went over. He was having a word, wasn't he? He was talking through the fence, wasn't he? Like, what does he? Did he say Jimmy Manoa? Is that who he?
I think he said he wants the winner for the title shot, but then he said Jimmy Manoa would be a good one too.
Yeah, he's not getting a title shot.
No.
And you know,
Manoa makes sense. I think 205 needs some. I was kind of almost rooting for Misha on that alone because I want, you know, it's like I think 205 needs a big time. After Jones, it needs a fucking shake up. You know, one thing in particular we're not going to mention, but you know,
let's see what happens with
just needs a changing of the guard and some newer echelon guys. There's all these fights to be made if only like two things happen.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Like if Volkan Ozdemir can win, that opens the doors.
Right.
That opens the doors.
It's like we were doing our picks for 2018.
Yeah.
We were doing our picks for 2018, and number one is Francis Ngannou against Stipe Miocic, and then Volkan Ozdemir taking on DC is number two. So we were like, you know, in a way, Ozdemir DC is the equivalent of of Ngannou against Stipe. Is that it's new blood. If let's say Volkan Ozdemir was to finish DC, although it's only one position change, the champion has lost, it wakes up the whole division.
Yeah.
100%. I missed something, guys, because my connection got a little shitty.
Yeah.
I heard you say Volkan winning, and that was like, that is a perfect example of what it needs.
Yeah.
The other thing is DC I like him like better as a commentator, and there's something that feels, and I like the guy, man. I have nothing personal against him, but there's something that feels not concrete about him being champion again. We've seen Jones beat him twice, and last time convincingly, and then he gets gifted a belt. Jones is, it's well known how I feel about John Jones. It's not a pro John Jones thing. I do like Volkan, who's always been a gentleman to me. That'd be an awesome shake-up to have this Ngannou light, just a little lighter type in 205, because it's mostly strikers there. Yeah. Wrestlers get boring at 205. They really do. Because when you watch Khabib grapple, like, to me, I'm watching phenomenal technique. I'm watching just, passing George in his prime, Damian Maia when he was on his win streak. You're watching beautiful grappling. With Cormier, you're watching this grind, and another guy like, Jesus, this sucks. And then, he wins the decision. He didn't always do that. When he was like fighting at heavyweight, he was actually more exciting. But at 205, it's like, he just, kind of burns guys out. And then he had, like, his Gus fight. That was exciting because he stood a lot. He does that with Volkan. He's getting a sleeping pill, for sure.
For me, I think, just to be fair to Cormier, I think he's been kind of in that revolving door of fighting the same guys. He's fought John Jones twice. He's fought Rumble twice. And then he's fought Gustafsson.
Yeah, I don't dislike him. I don't want to come off that way.
I think even if Volkan beats DC and they rematch down the line, I still think that would be fresh. But then you obviously have them crazy fights with Volkan as well.
I don't think DC is around for much longer.
I don't think he is either. I think he is. I think three fights max, maybe 4.
Yeah,
because I've met DC. He's like this. He's the same height and the same age as me, which is weird because I feel way too old to fight now. But he's also an Olympic athlete, and I'm not. But,
that's what we're going to name this episode.
Think of if Volkan wins, right? Especially in spectacular fashion. 205 was the fucking division forever. It was Chuck's, and for a long time it was Chuck's Jones, and Randy's and Tito's, and then you come back and you can come back to like Chuck's kind of falling from grace. There was a little oddness parody with Griffin, Rashad, Shogun, John Jones. John Jones. Still though, he just fucked up. Yeah. Like, we need, I don't know. I just feel like I want a shake-up in a division that's always been great. There's something. And if Volkan's the new king, then you have all these interesting, like him versus Gus is an awesome fight. That'd be, that's so fun.
There's
a lot of fun fights then at 205.
There is. But like looking down at the rankings, I just brought up the light heavyweight rankings. Ozdemir, but then if you look down, like you have Glover at number 3, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. You have Jimmy Manoa number 4, OSP number 5, Shogun number 6.
Shogun is
number 6, because like then
is that not case in point though? In a way,
exactly. It's right? It's crazy. Like
he's on a 3-fight win streak.
You love him.
Fucking right, I do.
He's handsome, I'll give you that.
There really isn't anybody there. It's crazy. There's like nobody coming up really, apart from Ozdemir who's getting the title shot. But apart from that, it's just stale.
205 was like before, like that in 170 it used to kind of be, because 155, remember, it was split.
Yeah.
You had what was the brain fart. What was the other fight promotion?
Pride?
Anthony Pettis.
WEC.
So we had 155 there, and it felt like the better fighters at 155 were there.
Yeah, a lot
and
more,
so there was a lot of oddness almost. But now 155 is just 1 through 15 fucking crazy, killers.
Yeah.
145 is getting better again. 135 is getting better.
Really
125 is weak. Heavyweight's got a new Mike Tyson-ish character. Yeah. So 205, which has always kind of been good. We're going back to Tito and Randy.
I know.
It was always good.
Yeah.
It's kind of stale right now. It needs life. I don't think DC wrestle fucking Volkan for 5 years is good for the division. I don't think it is. We'll see. I don't know. DC could very well win. I'm not going Brendan Schaub on it. No, I'll tell you that. Fuck him.
That was. That's the soundbite of the episode. Brendan Schaub. Fuck him. Brendan Dorman. It's been an absolute pleasure recapping as always.
Always, fellas.
We're going to do I say this now, but we're going to probably do a show from home next week because we're not going to be here. So we'll all be in the comfort of our homes, and we're going to be breaking down.
You want me to get on a flight? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, you're not welcome.
Come over to the country, the home
kicks,
country.
Huh?
Yeah,
I won't hurt you, bud.
But yeah, we're going to be talking tiramisu. We're going to be talking kebab. We're talking the big card. UFC December 30th. So that'll be next week. Some stage we'll sort it out on a night that suits everyone, and we'll have to do it at home.
Deal.
Beautiful. A deal sealed with a kiss. Brendan Dorman, a pleasure as always.
Flip side. Love you guys.
Peace.
Cheers,
love you too, man.
Bye-bye. If you were listening on audio, you need to get in on this video malarkey with Brendan Dorman's crazy outros and intros.
Yeah,
they're
fantastic.
They're a beacon.
Right, let's move her on up, move her on down, and recap more of the weekend's action, including BAMMA and EFC. We're going to South Africa. So, like I said, Rob, we're going to South Africa, and why not? Because Will fucking Fleury was fighting in South Africa against Gordon Rodman. Fucking prun. Yeah, Will Fleury does what Will Fleury does. Don't know why I said it like that. But Will Fleury looked fantastic, Rob.
Wanted to be cool.
Winning by TKO in the second round. But, yeah, dominant. Will Fleury, very dominant performance.
Yeah, excellent performance. Good showing.
I thought it could have been stopped in the first round.
Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, excellent performance. It looks like at the start he wasn't really loose. Looks like he's trying to feel him out, getting a few takedowns, bit of clinching. But the second round, he started getting loose, landed a lovely shot that dropped him. And it looked like the chap was really, really hurt. And then finished him off. Beautiful jiu-jitsu on top, landed on some big shots. And got it done. Great performance. I think you have to be really happy with that. I know he put something up after the fight.
Rib or something. I can do that with a broken rib.
Yeah, something like that. But he also put another thing up saying like the winner of this reality series, whatever it's called, The Fighter, wasn't there. I'm the winner from that series on this show. So who was the real winner of the show? So I thought that was a good little jab as well. But
yeah,
good performance, very good performance.
Will Fleury, we obviously had Will on the show here twice in a week, and like Will spoke about, number one, the frustration, and he couldn't really tell us what happened, and then when we seen what happened, we're like, holy shit. So for everything, it's almost. We're going to be speaking with John Phillips later on, who's having similar issues with trying to get a fight in the UFC. It's not the UFC's fault. It's not John Phillips' fault. It's visa issues. But the frustration of not being able to fight. Will Fleury has got that a lot. This was a huge opportunity to fight her. And then what happened with the elbows and being eliminated from the competition. And then even before that, like, Will would be signed to fight, and fighters would pull out the week of fights, the day of fights, the day before, the weigh-ins.
It's crazy to look at his Tapology page because he has about 14 fights, but he's only had about 3 fights.
He's 3-0 now.
But there's about 14 fights lined up, and they're all just like cancelled. It's crazy.
But he looked good. But man, Will, I love you. We got to get Fight Star, get sponsoring Will Fleury, and get that man a new pair of trunks. They wear short shorts, Will. They wear short shorts. Beautiful though. He wears it well. But no, big win for Will Fleury. Another big win as well, and return to action for the Honey Badger, Phil Mulpeter as well. Yes, getting back in there, winning, I think it was Budo, the Budo Championships as well.
Long time out.
Yeah, a long time. Started up his gym. I think it was 3 months, 3 years away.
Something like that.
Something like that. And even Conor McGregor was Instagramming and tweeting about it. But one of the originals, the Pioneers as well, Mulpeter, coming back and getting a victory by rear naked choke in the third round. And then we moved on to BAMMA, of course. Some madness at BAMMA, but before we get to that, I want to talk about former guest of the show as well, Rhys Skeletor McKee. Yes. Had a lot of issues with not signing with BAMMA, moving. Looked like he was possibly going to sign with KSW. He was sort of testing the free agency after a draw with Richie Smullen. But goes back to BAMMA, takes on Cam's Ekbo, and gets the win by via triangle choke. You watched the fight as well? Good
performance. Got it to the ground. I think his jiu-jitsu lately has looked really good. Like, I think a lot of people were surprised with the Smullen fight, how well he competed against Smullen on the ground. There was a load of transitions there where maybe a couple of years ago people wouldn't expect that from Rhys, but Very good performance. It looked like he finished a triangle from a very weird position.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he had it in fully, but that just shows you how tight a squeeze is.
You could see it like a couple of times in the triangle. He'd arch up to look like he was going to throw the elbow, and then it was almost like Rhys started, oh fuck, I have him here. Put the hands back down and pull the head down, create the angle. But I got to say, Rhys the day before put up a picture of a very similar position in the triangle against Richie Smullen, and he says, on the feet or on the mat, I'll get the job done. And it was like a mirror image. Like a butterfly effect of I don't know, butterfly effect, you know, butterfly wings, where Rhys got the choke and got a finish, but a big victory for Rhys McKee.
Much needed victory.
And hopefully, you know, you hear a lot of talk with BAMMA, and you know, fighters are moving on from them and stuff like that, and hopefully BAMMA realise that they've got an absolute superstar in Rhys McKee.
The commentator certainly thought it.
And like,
are all over him.
Interesting to see now where what's next for Rhys is in, you know, we know other former guests as well. The champion of the division was over trying out at Tim Barnett was trying out a Tough. Didn't go his way. But
I'd love to see that fight again.
Rumours that Richie Smullen is over in Tough as well.
Is he?
Yeah, it looks like he possibly rumour mill has got in.
Wow, very good.
Into the house. So that'd be interesting. So in a way, if Smullen has got in, amazing for Richie Smullen, by the way, if he has got into the house.
Well done.
Fucking huge opportunity. Jesus, great stuff. But that could be a ticket for Rhys to get a rematch against Barnett.
I'm kind of surprised. I was very surprised when Richie Smullen got the call up initially, because
I think if Richie Smullen had beat Rhys McKee,
of course,
I'm not surprised.
Then it's fine. It's not fine.
But the fact that it went to a draw,
and then the guy who doesn't have the history with the champion gets a title fight, it was just very strange matchmaking. Very, very strange matchmaking. So I think if they do the Rhys fight, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. It's a great fight, and the two really good up and comers as well, in him and Barnett.
Another talking point of the night,
which is
Aaron Chalmers.
Yeah. What about
Carl Donaldson? 3-0. Fight hasn't got out in a minute.
Yeah.
Knockout.
Yeah.
I think. Silence.
Sorry.
Look.
No, it's honestly, for me, I don't mind it a whole lot.
Did you see Paddy Pimlet and all his pamphlets?
Yeah.
Chalmers put up the picture with all the money.
Yeah.
Right. I get what Pimlet's saying. I 100%.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it from the fighter's aspect. It's not Aaron Chalmers' fault that BAMMA are willing to throw money at him. You got to sort of. You can't even question BAMMA. They're getting eyes on them. But like, he called out Baby Slice, didn't he?
I think he did. I heard he called it CM Punk or something. Did he?
I don't know. That was AD put up a saying that this fight was originally like. The finish, if you look at his finishes, he's legit finishing, but his striking looks real stiff and he looks real robotic.
He has power.
But
he has power.
If he genuinely got in there with, like, in fairness, what I liked about Chalmers was his post-fight interview. They asked him about who he wants to fight next, and the likes of Richard Kiley and all like that came up. And he said, "I'm not on their level." Yeah. He said that like he's an incredible kickboxer. I'm not at that level.
Yeah.
So like, in a way, BAMMA have to slowly build him. But I think it's crazy. They need to give him, like, your man Carl Donaldson. Like, I don't know Carl, so I don't mean any disrespect to Carl. You know, he's getting a big opportunity fighting on this.
Yeah.
But Carl is put in there as a lamb to the slaughter. Like,
yeah. But he's had amateur experience, the guy, hasn't he?
I don't think he's down as one.
Yeah, he's not very good.
Loss. Yeah.
Here, listen. This is the situation that BAMMA are in. So they have Aaron Chalmers, who wants to fight in their promotion. They're not going to say no. They're not.
Yeah. But look, my point as well, though, is Robbie is knocking, like, he's
winning,
he's fighting tins, right? But he's beating them, and he's beating them convincingly.
What's the big argument against Aaron Chalmers fighting right now?
My thing is that you look at Rhys McKee.
Yeah.
Their former champion.
Yeah.
Former champion.
I agree.
Was on the prelims on Unilad.
Yeah.
And while we're on fucking Unilad.
Yeah.
Jesus, lad, sort the stream out. But apart from that, Rhys McKee is on the undercard, and I don't mean that sounds like I'm. This sounds like I'm saying this because it's Rhys McKee, right? Take away Rhys McKee from it, right? You got like lads with like huge fight records, 8-1, low down the cards. Adam Proctor taking on Nathan Jones, 11-7. Do you know what I mean? You've got experienced lads further down the card, and Aaron Chalmers is getting this, but. The argument, I know the argument, Rob. The argument is he's bringing so many eyes to the show. it's on ITV and everything was on ITV4.
That's unfortunate. The reality of the situation is that it happens with every promotion. It happens with the UFC. You have CM Punk on a main card when you have guys, talking about experienced guys, you want to look at the UFC undercards. Those are experienced guys. And you still have...
Yeah, but that's still... No, but it's different.
You still have
UFC.
What do you mean it's different?
No, I know. It's like... I know your point.
That should be even worse if you have a guy with no experience on the card. And the situation that BAMMA are in is that they're probably paying this guy a pretty good amount of money. And if they don't pay him that money, he's not fighting. If he's fighting, he's getting them eyeballs.
They have to give him some of these.
But
they can't.
What are you going to do? Stick him on an undercard? Stick him on a prelim card where he's not on TV? They have to put him on the main card.
But they can't stick him. This 0-1 fighters now has to go. He has to fight.
Yeah, fight someone with.
He has to fight somebody with a positive record now.
Fight somebody that's like 2-0, 3-0 or something.
The greatest, I gotta say,
but it's also expectation.
Getting in there and he's doing it, right?
Yeah.
You gotta give them. But it is the expectation. Like if you were to put Aaron Chalmers in there with like Kiefer Crosby or they fucking murder.
Absolutely, 100% they do. Yeah.
But should he be hampered?
Do you know what's funny
He's
as well?
Technically a 3-0. Like when does it come to point? Does he get to get to 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and then start getting a half competitive fight? You know what I mean? Like you can't get up to 7-0 as a pro fighting.
BAMMA are really using the boxing model to bring Aaron Chalmers. Yeah. If you look at the boxing model, you have guys. You look at Michael Conlan. Huge fan of Michael Conlan. The guys he's fighting, some of them are like 4 and fucking 5 and all this shit. Like earlier in his career, even though he's a excellent amateur boxer, one of the best amateur boxers Ireland's ever produced, he's still fighting guys who aren't great at pro level. It just happens, you know.
Yeah, but they're pro. They have pro experience. And boxing, I know we're Rob. Don't give me the eyes. Don't give me the eyes.
It's just,
but there's like old boxers. They have this boxing ring craft and all that. Well, this guy, Carl Donaldson, he didn't. He looked the part. I was like, geez, this guy looks real aggressive. Jesus, Chalmers was have his hands full here. And like he clipped Chalmers at one stage and sort of backed Chalmers off, and Chalmers came back. Like the finish, Chalmers knocked him out.
It was nice.
It was a great finish. Like,
I completely agree with what you're saying.
Some people shouted early stoppage by that referee, whoever he is.
For merit purposes, I think there's so many guys on the undercard that deserve to be way higher on the card. But just the reality of the situation and what it is, who knows? Like,
you have to give him a positive record now. You can't give him another 0-0 with like 3 amateur fights and he's 1-1.
Yeah, you have to give him somebody who's half decent. Is that the likes of Kiefer Crosby? No, he'll get flattened. But
that's what I mean. Like, so how...
But also, Kiefer Crosby has a lot of amateur experience as well.
Yeah, but you meant it now. I know, right? At the same time, the argument can go both ways here, right? But Kiefer Crosby does have... I don't know why we're harping on Kiefer.
I know, it's just a weird example.
No, it's just...
It's a guy with a couple of fights pro, and he's unbeaten.
Yeah, so, like, you look at Kiefer, right? Kiefer has had experience at amateur, but as a pro... That experience is you're both started 0-0. You're both at the slate, and I know you don't start at the same crossroad or the same whatever. Do you know what I mean? As in, you don't all start at the same start point. But Kiefer Crosby is 3-0 as a professional. Aaron Chalmers is 3-0.
Listen,
as a professional.
If Kiefer Crosby fought Aaron Chalmers, it would look like CM Punk versus Mickey Gall. You would have got flattened.
I think it potentially looks worse.
Probably looks worse. But what I mean is it's an early finish.
But that's what I mean. So who'd you put him in against?
Who knows? I don't know the regional. It can't be a guy who is very experienced at amateur and is a good prospect at mixed martial arts right now. It can't be.
Why though?
Because it can't.
So what point do we get him to?
Who knows? A couple more fights.
Like if you look at it that way, the names are just jumping into my head here. Amateurs in this country. Like if you take J.R. Campus or Tommy Martin fights at 54, but Tommy went up to 70. Like they wipe the floor with him.
Yeah, I'm talking about like.
And I'm not being disrespectful.
I'm talking about legitimate blue chip prospects of Irish and UK MMA, like the likes of those guys who you were talking about, like Kiefer Crosby and all that. Especially like fucking Rhys or anyone like that. That's a lamb to the slaughter. I want to see him against somebody who's on his level. He's way under them. He's absolutely way under them.
Like think let's say Daniel Olin Jacek, like Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan beats him.
Yeah, exactly.
Handily.
Yeah. But then you're going the opposite direction. Like you're saying, put him against a guy who's half decent, and then you're saying these guys who are not half decent, these are very, very good.
Yeah, but you shouldn't. That's my thing, is that as 3-0, you shouldn't be given cannon fodder. You should have, if you are claiming to be a 3-0 fighter,
you need some balance. What is the balance? I don't know. I don't know if we know who the balance is.
It's a mind fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we know right now who the balance is. Maybe somebody who's like 2 or 3-0, maybe 4-0 in amateur. I know it's still, again, it's a pro debut, but someone who has decent experience at amateur, or maybe he's had 1 or 2 amateur fights and maybe 1 or 2 professional fights, but is good.
Like, my argument is, it's not Aaron Chalmers' fault he's getting paid this money,
it's not.
Right? He's coming in as a celebrity, he's getting all this, right? That's fine. But I think that, and the promotion have a hard as well, because it makes sense for the promotion, but there comes a point where you got to go, right, mate, grand. Now you need to fight somebody.
Yeah,
we can't
100%.
We can't be giving you lads that you're just going to wipe the floor.
And I think that should be next, but I also don't think the guys who we're talking about is next. I think that's just way past. That's completely past. Just because they're only 2 or 3-0 in professional MMA, they've like tons of experience in amateur MMA, and they probably could be more in professional MMA if the shows are over here or if the shows are available. Like, they're at that level. We probably don't know who the right guy is right now, but there's somebody out there who is at a similar level to Aaron Chalmers, you know? It's a weird one. It's a bad situation for a lot of people. I think
it's a weird situation. It's not that it's bad, because at first it was like, this is a great business idea from BAMMA, but now they're at the stage of, shit, he keeps like beating these guys. Exactly, so now we're sort of going to have to put him in against somebody legit. And
we can't put him on an undercard because we're paying him this amount of money. We have to show him. He has to be on TV.
And you know what's weird?
It's a hard matchmaking job. It really is.
CM Punk, Aaron Chalmers probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably does.
Like, as silly as it sounds.
It does.
Yeah.
It sort of does.
It's crazy to say Aaron Chalmers has more experience.
Aaron Chalmers would probably beat him. Like Aaron Chalmers... One thing you can say, right?
He can fight.
He might not look technical or whatever, but he's won by submission and he's won by 2 knockouts. And his knockouts are knockouts.
He can at least fight.
Yeah.
How well he can fight, I don't know, We've seen he's done well. I think everyone was surprised with how well he done, especially his last one. Not the one just
the knockout before that.
I think everyone was surprised how
and
well
as well, too, you know, he's walking out in Newcastle there, his hometown. A lot of pressure on him, and he's still done it, you know. He looked like he shit himself now. He looked nervous.
Yeah, man, he's doing what he has to do. It's a weird situation. And I understand if somebody is annoyed, especially Rhys McKee. He has, I don't know if he's annoyed. I didn't say
no, we're just using him.
But if he's saying in his head, I should be on this main card. Yes, 100%. You should be on this main card over him. 100%, no doubt about it. But
that's what. Let's be honest. Unfortunately, that's what brought ITV on board. Yeah. What, Aaron Chalmers is what? Yeah.
But you know what will happen though. You know what will happen if this guy Aaron Chalmers isn't that good. He'll be found out very soon. You know.
Crazy. Weird situation. Yeah. Talking about a weird situation, let's get on. A knockout artist. An absolute destroyer. He is a UFC
destroyer of worlds
middleweight. Hasn't made his debut yet. Over a year signed with them. Hopefully fight news coming soon in the new year. The man with the name, the White Mike Tyson, John Phillips. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and if you're watching on YouTube you can see, and if you're listening on audio you're about to find out, because I'm going to tell you we're joined by the White Mike Tyson, John Phillips. So John, thanks a million for coming on to obviously Fight Talk.
No worries guys, anytime.
John, we know you, we know the story, we know whatever. Just in case the listeners haven't heard it, you signed with the UFC. You were scheduled to fight back in January of 2017. That didn't happen due to visa issues, and you still haven't made that UFC debut. So, what is the issue? Why hasn't it happened? And how frustrating, as a second part, is it?
In a nutshell, it hasn't happened because of the London embassy and American embassy. They're just tying me up in knots, really. I've been to America 10 times, so it's got to happen. It's just a matter of time. It's just so frustrating, and yes, it's heartbreaking, really, but I'm sure I'll be on a card pretty soon, and the wait will be worth it,
What do you think the status of it is now?
When I went last time, I was told it's in admin, and when I spoke to the woman in the interview, she said, "Look, Scott, your case has gone into admin, and that can take up to 6 months, so in some cases longer to be sorted out." And I said, "Well, define longer. Are we talking weeks, months, years?" And she was just like, "Look, it's in admin and it's getting sorted, and it should be done sooner rather than later."
So do you expect to be on like a European card next?
I think, yeah, I'll definitely be on a European card before then, I have to be. I need the money.
Yeah, that's one aspect of it as well, because again, for people who aren't familiar with you, John, you're a Welsh man. If they're listening, they can hear you're a Welsh man, but you're living and training here in Dublin, Ireland. I believe, I heard this, I'm not too sure how correct it is. I know you were in like a van, like you were sleeping in a van at the back of SBG, but I believe it's now in Coach John Kavanagh's garden, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it was out the back of the gym in a van, in like a camper van. And now I've got a caravan up John, so I sort of upgraded.
Just the story of why SPG? Why did you choose SPG?
I just didn't really get on. Where I live back home, I didn't find there was anything really for me, and I tried a few different gyms, and SPG seemed to work the best for me. So,
and obviously, I've seen you fight. I've been lucky enough, unfortunately for Chet Coney, I was there that night as well, and not just you, where you won the BAMMA light heavyweight title in devastating first round finish. So when it goes to that, your next bout then again was another devastating finish of Lesarda as well. That was in Budo Fighting Championship 16. So from then, you're talking about obviously financially, but just as a fighter, the itch, how do you keep, I'd imagine adrenaline gets so high, so how do you lower that? Is it just by having hard spars, or is it just infuriating that you're not stepping in there into the cage?
Just trying to keep busy, really, and just trying to stay ready, and obviously you've got your sparring, but it's so hard because obviously you peak for a fight and then you can't stay up there, you've got to come back down and take over mentally and physically. And I was prepped to fight December 9th, and obviously knowing then that I weren't going to fight again, it's heartbreaking, but this is a sport we're in, and it's not the first time it's happened, and I'm sure it won't be the last time. It's just, that's the nature of the game,
And as you're sitting on the sidelines looking at the division as well, like I know you call for Michael Bisping as well. Michael Bisping's obviously having his farewell party, if you'd like to call it that, in London. Do you think that's a realistic opportunity or potential to happen?
Well, to be honest, there's a few different reasons, if I was to ever fight Michael Bisping, my name would instantly be up there, and I'd be a more recognised fighter. And, by calling him out, it gets people talking about me and trying to get me on the scene. It would be a win-win for me. If I was to lose to him, I've lost against a champ. If I was to win, I'm in the big name, I'm happy to fight anyone in the division, and I want to be the best I can be in the division. I want to beat all the names, So why not start with a big name?
Even if it's not Michael Bisping, is that where you expect to be? Do you expect to be right in there with the top 10 type guys straight away in the UFC?
I think I'm top 10 straight away, but I don't do anything to be second best. I'm out there to be the best, and I think that's the mentality everyone should have in the UFC. We all talk about game, we all, so to speak, in the Premiership division. And I want to be champ. I don't want to be, top 10. I want to be number one, and that's what I'll be aiming for and I'm working for every time I'm there.
Has the opportunity even come around, John? It sounds a little silly in ways, but you vacated the BAMMA title to go, and you fought then in Budo as well. But has the opportunity come around to even have a fight outside of the promotion because of the fact of the visa issues?
To be honest, I could go and fight for a different organisation, I suppose, straight away. But I wouldn't even think of it. I was lucky enough to get signed by UFC, and they are more happy to honour the agreement. And it's just one of them things. It's just one of them things you can look back on and say, wasn't it worth going through all that crap to fight on a big stage? So the thought of fighting for someone else hasn't crossed my mind.
You spoke about, obviously you need the money, but how hard is it to fight outside of the big league like UFC, fighting BAMMA? You're the champion BAMMA, but how hard is it to fight at the likes of there and make the kind of money that you can live on?
It's next to impossible, unfortunately, and it's a lot of these fighters are fighting for pennies. I was getting paid quite well by these other promotions, and I know other fighters were not even on half what I was on, so it's tough. It's really tough, and if you're not fighting, you're not active, you can't pay your bills, and that then goes. It's a chain effect, and if you can't pay your bills, you can't train right, and then you have to go to work, and then you only can do so much training because you got to worry about paying bills, and you can perform then to the time you can spend in the gym. If you can do, say you're doing 12 sessions a week, you can be as good as you can be for doing 12 sessions a week. If I'm going out and working and I'm to make money by not fighting, I only get 4 sessions in the gym a week, I'm going to be as good as I can at 4 sessions a week. That's how it is.
Is that what's happening, John? Are you working now as well? Are you, as much as you're training, are you back doing a normal 9 to 5 or sort of part-time work?
No, I'm quite lucky because I got some good sponsors that have been really looking after me while I'm fighting. So I'm lucky enough I can train full time. But I'm just just about keep my head above water. And if it weren't for my sponsors, I'd have to go back to work without a doubt.
And when you're, as I was about to ask earlier, when you're sitting in the sidelines looking in, what do you think of the division? When you're looking there, are you thinking, shit, man, I'm flying so far under the radar, I cannot wait to walk into the division and actually just shake up the whole UFC middleweight division?
Yeah, I just look at the division. And don't get me wrong, everyone's good in it. Everyone's got their own fighting style and their own strengths and weaknesses and etc. But I honestly believe that I'll give anyone I'm a danger to anyone, and I think I'll rip the division apart. Once I get flowing now and get my first couple of fights out of the way, I think people are going to see that
that was the way. Just lose connection. Just might try wing. John, might see if we can get a stronger connection there. So John, just looking as well on your social media, as we tend to do here as well, I'd seen that you said that there's a fight announcement coming pretty soon. That was on the 14th of this month. So obviously you're not going to tell us if it can't be released, but how far away is that fight news?
Not too far away.
Holding the cards close to the chest. Because we know, it's weird with the visa issue, because we spoke to Darren Till earlier as well today, and Darren's obviously fought all over the world. I know he's fought living in Brazil and stuff like that. The visa was probably a lot easier to come by, but we're obviously, like I said, you're the guy who's almost flying under the radar here in that UFC middleweight division, and it's just us fans who have obviously seen you fight previously, we can't wait to see you do your thing in the UFC. So as much as we're itching for it, I can only imagine how much excitement and adrenaline that you can't wait to get back in there.
Oh man, it's just like I said, it's just frustrating, and I see it as a hurdle to get over. I'm sure I must have won it, and I just, like I said, I need to fight financially, and just for being pent up, I feel like I'm a fucking caged animal that needs to get out. I need to fight.
And do you think that's, in a way, do you think it's going to be an advantage? I know that sounds ridiculous, but in a way, you're going to be coming in here like a man. Like, you're going to have this break period. I know you've had injuries and stuff like that as well, but this is a long extended break period where you can work on things that maybe you felt you need to improve on. Do you feel like this is going to be a huge advantage this time away from the cage?
That's what I was sort of trying to look at it like, and some of my close friends and family have said that as well. This actually made this time out has probably made me a better all-round fighter. I've been able to add to my weaknesses, add to my strength, do a lot more strength and conditioning, and just make myself an all-round better fighter as time is going by. So I suppose, you know, it has made me a stronger fighter, but I still think I was capable of mixing it 2 years ago with anyone in the division. Now I'm even more rounded and skilled.
2018, we're just about to start into it. So is this the year of John Phillips in the UFC?
I hope it is. I don't want to jinx it. Yeah.
And again, it's like I said, the amount of people that, you know, when you go onto your Twitter, and it's worth going onto your Twitter because the stuff you tweet as well. Three followers, or you follow 3 people, which is amazing too. But I just love your actual your headline on your on it. I'm a UFC fighter. Can you wait to stop telling people that you can actually say, look, here's my UFC fights, and then I'm just a definition of a right crazy Welsh bastard. That's up for a row with any fucker. Again, it's the whole thing, isn't it? I'm a UFC fighter. It's can't wait to feel that canvas under the feet.
Yeah, you know, it's not so much, you know, I think I'll be this. Any fighter would say the same. It's not so much the fighting, because I'll fight anyone. I'll fight in front of anyone and anywhere. But you know, actually, the aura to call yourself a UFC fighter and to have your kit. I can't wait to have my kit. That's probably one of the most exciting things for me, is to have my kit and see my name on the back of my t-shirt and and come home and say, yeah, I bought and I've got my kit. And that's sort of stupid and petty as that sounds. That's cream de la creme for me. That's the top. That's to me to come home and show my UFC kit, and yeah, you know, that's what pushes me on. I can't wait for that.
I don't think that's silly at all. It's almost like, you know, the kid who's grown up and wants to play for Manchester United or Liverpool or whoever, and they finally get there and their name is on the back of the famous jersey. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, do you know, when I first got into mixed martial arts, I won my first fight by knockout, and I actually lost my second fight. And I lost it due to lack of experience. I didn't have no groundwork at all. I just got into the sport just as a boxing, and a lot of people were like, oh, you're going to quit now, And I was so ashamed. I still lived with my dad at the time. I didn't leave my house for about easily 4 or 5 months. You know, I had bust nose, I had stitches, I had cuts, and I was all bruised up, and I thought, no, I don't want anyone to see me. I obviously the broken nose and the cuts and that healed up, but I didn't leave my house for about 4 months. I was so ashamed, but I was so determined to get it, to sort the situation out and get good and make it. That was like the most valuable lesson I could ever learn, and I really pushed me to keep making these big shows. And the guy I lost to in my second fight was Jim Warled, and he obviously made UFC as well. And I spoke to Jim Warled at another show a couple of years later, because we actually fought the welterweight. I think I was only about 19, 20. I said, Jim, I've heard you come up to middleweight. He said, yeah, John, I have. He said, but to fight everyone but fucking you. He said, I've seen what you do. And he said, I'm holding my claim to fame. He said, I'm never fighting you again. He said, Jim, you give me the best lesson I could ever have. He said, you will push me on more than anyone. And just thought I'd share that little story.
You spoke about how a loss affected you really early in your career. Has that changed since, or do you still, when you lose a fight or lose a competition, do you still get that where you don't really want to talk to people and you want to be isolated?
Sorry, guys.
So you spoke about when you lost your first fight, that it was a really kind of a heartbreaking experience and you wanted to stay away from people. Is that something that still happens to you when you lose a fight or you lose a competition, or have you moved on from that?
No, I'm really passionate and I'm really competitive. You know, if I lose, don't be wrong. If I went out and I fought my best potential and I lost, and of course the other guy, the better man has won. But yeah, you know, no one likes losing. If I lose, I'll definitely sulk and throw me out of the pram, and I'll be passionate about it. You know, but I'll be straight back to the drawing board and looking why I lost. But I'm hoping that losing is behind me, and I'm going to keep going on a massive winning streak now.
Just in regards to SBG as well, John, on your record, you fought 2 fellow SBG men, winning both fights, beating Chris Fields and Charlie Ward. Was it ever weird walking into SBG and the 2 lads are standing there looking at you?
It was a little bit, you know, but actually, me and Charlie probably get on the best of everyone. I was actually speaking to the girlfriend, because when I first went over. And she said, how are you finding it? You know, getting on with everyone. I said, believe it or not, I said, my main sort of new mate out here now and training partner is Charlie Borden. You know, I'm sure if me and Charlie fought each other 10 times, he would have won 5 and I would have won 5. You know, it's a sport. You win some, you lose some, and we have a bit of banter about it. And yeah, it's just how it is, you know. But it was no atmosphere. Everything was great, and yeah, it was great for the team as well.
Just before we let you go, just for the people who don't know, can you explain the origin of the nickname, the White Mike Tyson?
It's because I knock people the fuck out.
Just nice and simple.
They say to me when I go into a fight, so what, you know, friends say all the time, you got any game plan? I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep hitting the guy until he goes to sleep, until the ref pulls him off him. And that's what I always do.
I tell you, it's a good tactic. Keep doing it because it's certainly working for you, John. It's certainly working for you. Look, I can't wait to see you in there. Hopefully, you know, Visa, it's the shit end of the fight game that you don't really hear, and it's pure frustration for you, and hopefully that gets resolved. Enjoy your Christmas and the New Year. I cannot wait to see you in there with Phillips on your shorts, representing Wales and SPG as well at the same time, and yourself. But a very Merry Christmas to you and yours, and thanks for coming on to us today.
Legends. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute Jenny. Take care. So, why do they call you the White Mike Tyson? Because I knock fucking people out. Fucking brilliant.
I thought he was going to go with it. You know, I started knocking people out, and then my coach gave me this. Just like, no, because I knock people out.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. John Phillips. And again, it's weird. That's why I said it to him about, you know, his bio on Twitter. I know John Phillips. You know John Phillips. And a lot of people know John Phillips. Like, especially if you're from this side of the pond.
Yeah,
you know him. You've seen his highlights. And I tell you what, we'll do it when we put the show out. Put up there's a highlight video of John Phillips as well. We'll stick it up. I'll stick it up on the obviously Fight Talk Facebook page. This guy, he's a fucking absolute killer, and he's an absolute stone cold gentleman as well. But delighted to get John Phillips. How John Phillips came on was we were at Bellator.
It would have been Bellator. Yeah, it would have been Bellator.
We were at Bellator, and
Bellator.
All the media seats were sort of taken up. So we were running up and down. So I sort of sat in the VIP section, and I rustled in past Tony McGregor and Terry Kavanagh, and all. I was sitting talking to Terry for a few minutes, and I turned and looked, and fucking hell, it's John Phillips sitting beside me. So I got chatting to him just briefly. I got, what's the crack with you? You know, small talk, you know. I have a podcast, would you like to come on? And I got chatting to the guy beside him, his manager, chatting away to him, lovely guy as well, chatting away to the lads. And he turned around and said, you have a podcast? And I slapped John on the knee to say, I'd love to have John on the show sometime. And he says, slap me like that again, big boy. I get nobody on the show. So I'll knock you out. I thought, yeah, I'm withdrawing the hand very quickly. But yeah, if truth was word, things get in the way and life gets in the way, and you know, a few little time differences. Well, not time difference, but just life gets in the way. Schedules, boxing schedules, stuff like that. But delighted that we finally got John Phillips on. And like I said, I'll share his highlight video. Oh man, is it a highlight video? You won't ask why they're called the White Mike Tyson. Like, how hard is it to go into a cage or a boxing ring or whatever with your name, the White Mike Tyson?
I know, yeah.
But he does, and he kicks ass doing it, like, and that's what I mean.
Very exciting. I think a lot of people stateside who don't know who John Phillips is, once he gets in there, people will be excited to see him because, yeah, it's the nickname just encapsulates his fighting style. That's who he is. He's that guy who goes and tries to punch your head off. Yeah, good show though.
And he's pretty good at it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a show. We'd like to thank everyone. From John Phillips to Darren Till earlier on and Brendan Dorman. Thank you, Rob. Thanks to me, Noel.
Thanks, Noel.
This is our last show before Christmas. So a big thank you to our sponsors at Christmas time as well. And as always, MMAmix.com. They're obviously good because they're with, obviously, Fight Talk. To Fight Star Ireland, the fighter's choice. Everything you need under two roofs. Go check them out. Get a late Christmas present. Go to the shop. Go out to them. The KRCs. Go out and buy some boxing gloves for people. They look after world champions. They can look after you. And of course, the Feel Supreme. The co.uk. Get 10% off at the checkout using the code FIGHTTALK. You get 10% off. Go there. Buy some late Christmas presents. Probably won't get delivered on time. But look, New Year's present. Get it off. They look after the Chinese and they can look after you. This has been obviously Fight Talk 94. It's Christmas time, Rob. Happy Christmas.
Mistletoe and wine.
Happy Christmas,
Happy
Rob.
Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you.
Happy Christmas.
And subscribe and give us our Christmas present. A subscription. Ho, 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 motherfuckers.